Good morning. Christmas Eve, December 24th. We have a half trading day today. All right, let's discuss a couple things here. We had some news yesterday that Tim Cook, Apple CEO, took a little bit of a stake in Nike. Very, very interesting. Nike is hitting some really interesting support levels. I had a level at 57 bucks, but it never quite hit it there yesterday. Came very close. Should have just picked some up. Oh shit, it did hit 57. Why didn't my alert go off? What? That was my buy low, 57.05. Did my alert not go off? Oh my goodness. It did go off and I missed it. That's too bad. Come on, are you serious? Anyways, Nike, yeah, getting a nice little boost this morning from Mr. Cook, Apple CEO, seeing some value there. It's pretty quiet today, guys, in the market. Um, Again, it's gonna be one of those lower volume days again. So it's probably not wise to rush or overtrade anything. Let's look what Bitcoin's doing. BTC right now. Still backing and filling. Pretty weak on the session. Just chopping around. Flat. Flat side of the market. Stack here. But Bitcoin is struggling here, guys. Just does not want to firm up at all. Shit headphones. What is going on here? We go through a few more things. Gold surging to new highs in the futures market, coming in off the highs slightly negative. Silver yet again pushing above 72 bucks in the futures market, coming in a little bit from the highs. Still very, very strong. I won't really touch base on the bond market. That's fairly muted this morning. You got some natural gas sell side pressure this morning after a huge rally intraday yesterday. Spiking higher, coming in from the highs right now as we speak. But crazy, crazy nat gas rally. SPY right now is up 0.03%, so flat. QQQ is the best performing indice right now, but kind of flat as well. IWM is literally flat. Nvidia slightly down, Apple slightly down, Google. Everything's quiet. Tesla right now gaining the most liquidity out of your mega cap tech in the pre-market. What else we got going on here? Let's look at crude oil. WTI continuing to try to break out of this downsloping trend line. But you are trading into this next resistance zone. So crude's looking a little bit better. I don't know why my headphones aren't connecting. What is happening? Lithium stocks seeing a little bit of sell side pressure, backing and filling a bit. Too many catalysts trading out there, guys, between other Nike. Nike might catch a continuation bid because it's so oversold with Tim Cook coming into the picture. That's a positive catalyst. Path is performing quite well. Other than that, I mean, not too much. Not too much moving today. Indices, I don't know if we're going to sell off or they just keep us pinned here. Intel's actually down quite sharply, INTC, so that's why there's a bit of a bearish undertone in your semis today. What is the news on Intel? Let's take a peek. So Nvidia backs out of its 18A chip deal with Intel. Intel stock fell as Nvidia chose not to use Intel's 18A manufacturing process. Two companies had tested the process earlier this year, but Nvidia reportedly decided against moving forward. Broadcom also took part in similar trials. Intel's 18A technology is part of its efforts to extract external chip makers as customers, but early evaluations face technical challenges which may be affecting demand. The company continues to rely heavily on Taiwan Semi for advanced chip fabrication. Interesting. It's pretty bearish for Intel. Right away, I mean, Intel looks like it could flush into that gap, so this one might be a short the pop day. Negative catalyst. You can see it did fall in the pre-market to pretty much that gap fill. So not the worst trade setup there. Stocks are doing well. Micron's still green. Copper stock's doing well. Another day where Rocket Labs is flying. ASTS is flying. Wow. Can't stop those names. Crazy. Morning, Caleb. So again, I mean, there's really three stocks, guys, that have some news catalysts today. You got Intel, you got Path, and you got Nike. Those are kind of your bigger names that are seeing some of that catalyst trading. So Nike looks somewhat bullish, Intel bearish, and Path somewhat bullish here. I think Path is as long as it stays above this little high pivot here, prior day high, it could be bought. Today, Nike, I think Nike isn't even a trade, it's just a full out buy and hold. That's what my plan is for Nike. It's we hit a massive level yesterday, getting that Tim Cook news today. Again, trading this one, I think dips can still be bought as long as you remain above this 58.30 area. But I like Nike, just buy and hold. It's gonna play out like Lulu. I say Nike's literally in this phase right now. It's 3 months behind Lulu. That's what I think. And we all know what Lulu has done. And again, I started accumulating Nike or Lulu down in these lower boundary ranges. 4% of the port. Average 170, 354. And it's proven to be a wonderful, wonderful thing, as we're probably not going to see that price for a long time on Lulu. If at all, maybe never. But yeah, Nike catching that bid with Tim Cook. Even CEO Tim Cook, Apple buying Nike. Pretty crazy. But I'm curious to see how this Intel deal. I don't really know much about this chip 18. Let me see if I can do a quick back-end research on this chip 18A deal. How much revenue the market was kind of forecasting for Intel. How much Morning, Peter. So there's no real revenue expectations for this Intel 18A chip A revenue. At least none have been made public. But we'll see what happens here, guys. We got a couple minutes till the open. Again, I don't know what type of volatility we're going to get this morning. I would anticipate it's not going to be much. That being said, I do have a little bit of a sell trigger on the 15-minute chart, 5, 10, and 15-minute of SPY, but hourly chart, 4-hour chart, and daily still remain exceptionally bullish. So here we have the market, obviously in a little extended in the very short term of SPY, but your larger time frame patterns are still holding structure here. Kind of interesting. Good morning, YS. Again, I would still anticipate there's likely going to be a bit of selling off the open, but maybe they want to spike it into that value area high. That's where I'm looking for a short. I would take a little bit of a put play off that value area high. Maybe they want to give the markets a new maybe they want to give the markets a new high here. We'll certainly find out momentarily. IWM is breaking down here. Gold's negative, SPY negative, Qs are flat. Microsoft, Nvidia coming in. Tesla still strong. Google, Meta coming in. Apple strong. Nike up 3.4%. Ripping. Nike is flying. Ticker Path is still flying. How's Intel doing? Yeah, Intel's catching a little bit of a bid, but definitely weak down here, guys. Intel could still fall into that gap fill. I think Intel's a short. I'm going to look to fade Intel very soon here. I just don't want them to pop it up in my face. That's the only thing that is nervous about shorting these semis. They love ripping these semiconductors back up. All right, nice push in the market. Really decent push. I'm going to see what's happening with Archer. I'm looking at Intel puts, guys. $35 puts. Yeah, Archer up 2%. I'm looking at Intel puts here. $35 puts. It's trying to make a move here with the market. All right, I just took a fill on Intel. It's a very aggressive, guys. Size appropriately. I got filled at 20 cents. $35 Intel put. Sorry, at 19 cents. And again, it's small trading size, guys. I'm not looking to go in with anything huge. 10 contracts, $190, so it's very small. But I am trying to fade Intel here. I do think the S&P is getting a little bit extended here as well. Oh, if they take Intel green, I'll be pissed. Don't you do it, Intel. Don't you do it. They might. They might. Look at this market squeezing. It's squeezing. STZ. Silver still strong. Ultra a couple percent. Nike still doing well. Coming in a little bit from the highs. Come on, send Intel lower. Again, I do think SPY is still a short here. Coming up. It's getting a little bit stretched, but I'm picking on Intel because it's weak. But it had a nice fat bounce here. Come on, give us a little bit of a move back lower, Intel. Amazon's still acting well. Nvidia's still down 0.5%. Bitcoin dumping here, guys. BTC getting slapped here in your 10-minute chart. It's coming in hard. Path still strong. Nova and D still strong. ASTS holding steady. Rocket Labs turning red. Again, we are in Intel, $35 puts, 0 DTE. Sorry, December 26, not 0 DT. December 26, which, is pretty much almost like a 0 DT considering it's a half day today and tomorrow's closed. But we're picking on a weak stock. My plan for Intel, guys, because I have it sized basically for loss, I will take half of the trade off of the table if we hit that $35 target, okay? So TP1. And then honestly, my TP2 is still down here. That gap fill. I want to see that gap filled in the regular trading session. All right. Again, SPY looks like it's a fade up here as well. It's getting a little bit overdone up here. I just don't know how long they want to maybe keep this market pinned. It's the only concern I have. You got Broadcom seeing some selling, Tempest seeing some selling, natural gas still weak. Silver's now starting to come in from the highs. Rocket Lab's coming in. Wow, look at that dump on BTC, guys. Look at that hard candle down. Nastiness. Bitcoin just cannot catch any sort of bid. Just getting wrecked at every single turn. Just when you think BTC is trying to bounce, it just gets slapped. SPY still holding technical resiliency here. Your SOXX though is strong. Go figure, considering semis are under a little bit of pressure with Intel and Nvidia, SOXX is still holding structure here. Interesting. Micron, that's where the strength is coming from. MU. What a beast. I mean, 284 on deck. Just a filthy, filthy monster. Micron is just ridiculous up here. MU squeezing. Western Digital squeezing. Nike still oh my god, Bitcoin getting liquidated here, guys. BTC's fallen off a cliff. What is happening with BTC? It is getting annihilated right now. BTC, is the dollar moving here? Not really, but Bitcoin is just getting smoked. Smoked here, guys. Damn, SPY almost hit that value area high. Again, aggressive short zone. But it is a short. Oh my god, BTC. Poor Sailor. And he ain't getting no Christmas rally, Mr. Sailor. Probably having to say, kids, honey, I'm sorry. But Bitcoin is not getting much love. Excuse me, bless me. Whoa. All right, a little bit of top wick distribution on your SPY chart. We'll get that opening range candle for you here. Lower high, lower low. Pretty tight range today. Value area. He's still moving to the upside of 4.73%. Damn, I wish I picked up more yesterday. I can't believe I missed my alert. I don't know what I was doing. I was literally watching that. Nvidia catching some liquidity. SPY still holding technical structure. Acting very, very well. Yeah, you're seeing this usually happens into your end, YS. It's actually not that strange where you see the stocks that have performed in 2025 will keep running into your end, but as soon as that 2026 rolls around, boom, those leading stocks get sold and profits get secured, and those profits roll into some of your more beaten down, oversold names, kind of those value plays. So Bitcoin's been weak for the last couple months, and now it's still getting heavy sell side pressure because what occurs is funds or institutions, shouldn't really say but hedge funds that are long crypto or BTC really don't want to show it on their investor statements at the end of the year. So what do? They slap the sell. And what do they want to show on their investor statements at the end of the year? Oh, we were long Micron. Oh, we were long Western Digital. And all the other names that have outperformed. Yeah, it's very... All right, SPY into that value area high. I might try to take a fade on SPY as well. Again, keep your positions extremely small, guys. Like, I'm not looking to make anything crazy here, but I'm thinking of taking some 688 puts here. Zeros, of course. Nvidia is still getting some sell side pressure. BTC getting a big buy program off of the lows. Big reversal on crypto and Bitcoin, guys. Let's look at this SPX. Not that far from all-time high. Pretty crazy, eh? Not that far from all-time high. Again, guys, I am short SPY. So that looks like it could be a liquidity sweep of the high, guys. Looks to me that case. Again, I am in 688 0DT SPY puts. Very aggressive. Size it appropriately. If you're going to be shorting, please size appropriately. It's a big spot here for the market. Right into that value area high. Tape right now, guys. Very strong. Intel starting to lag. Nvidia still lagging. Micron putting the market on its back right now. Crazy. Your NASDAQ and Russell are still struggling here, guys. QQQ is basically flat to negative, slightly green now. IWM still negative. You got weakness in Amazon, weakness in Microsoft, weakness in Nvidia, strength in Apple, weakness in Google. Meta's flat, weakness in Tesla. Interesting. So again, you can still see that there's some tech rotation flowing back into your S&P 500 right now. Come on, melt us a little bit lower. Test that OR low. Test it. Test it. Nvidia's still looking heavy. Micron's still holding steady. Again, you got some of those value plays that are seeing some bullish liquidity right now. Bitcoin getting faded again from the highs. Apple seeing some selling, but still green, up 0.5%. Intel still struggling off of that 35.55 area. You got gold still slightly negative. Natural gas down 3, crude up half. Tesla falling sharply. JP Morgan doing well. A little bit of positive backdrop in financials. But Micron is lifting, guys. Lifting. You know what's crazy is like when they start having these lower market cap semiconductors, like Micron, obviously it's a big company, but it's small, much smaller in the sense from Nvidia and Broadcom. But when they have Micron now as one of the leading stocks in your SOXX, for them to do some intermarket manipulation, remember the semis all flow as one and they gain liquidity based off of their weightings from the SOXX and SMH. And since Micron's weighting in the SOX is so big, they can do a lot of selling under the hood in some individual names while keeping the broad market still up. But they're really doing some weird shit with Micron. That's crazy. I don't know. It's super expensive, lofty up here, but all right, Intel coming down, guys. Let's see if we can get to that TP1 target. That would be the 10-minute candle opening range low. Remember, in the pre-market, Intel dropped all the way down to this gap. This TP2 is a major daily gap for for Intel. So I'd love to see it fill this gap down here. And we did drop down there in the pre-market. That's why I'm also picking on Intel right now, because pretty bearish headline news. It's tough to gauge how bearish since they didn't really put any revenue forecast for that overall 18 chip A. But come on, SPY, just roll over already. Stop being ridiculous up here. Just a little bit. Go back to the lows so I can trim. They just keep us pinned up here. Pissed. There's always that chance. Intel catching a bid. You got Nvidia selling. Nike still strong. Tesla, your underperforming mag name. ASTS has given up all of its gains. EM&R struggling. QBTS struggling. Intel still down 2%, but well off of the lows. Nike still 4.3. Path still strong. SPY's going for another new high a day. Trying to break out of that opening range high for your SPY. Super, super bullish. Micron starting to come in a little bit. Silver still coming in. Rocket Lab still coming in. Nvidia is still seeing some sell side pressure. Now, there's always a day you can get a big move back down. The market's extended enough intraday. Again, that's why I said it's risky and the position size needs to be small, because you have bullish price action on your hourly, 4-hour, and daily. So your larger time frames still remain exceptionally strong, which it always makes it a tough short. And then yeah, if you add low volume, it's tough for sure. But there's always a chance. So the next call wall is 689 here. A lot of interest at 689 for your 0 DTEs and 690. Yeah, they could maybe want to push us to 689. That's our next big call wall. 689, 690 there. There's a lot of sell side resistance there. But markets are still trending here. SPY catching a nice push. Nvidia is still near the lows. Micron curling slightly lower. You are getting Apple to push a little bit. Google trying to bounce. Amazon, Microsoft trying to capture some liquidity. QQQ still flat. IWM is trying to go positive. We are through that value area high on SPY, like a hot knife through butter. We are approaching 689 quickly. There is that gap fill that the market might want. That gap fill is just a pierce of 689 on SPY. Interesting. Interesting. If you look at SPY here, there's this gap fill from December 11th, Thursday, December 11th. Don't know if that's where the market wants to go, but pretty crazy. After that bullish breakout, guys, that inverse head and shoulders, we are almost at target. We're almost at the bullish inverse head and shoulders target. All right, now you have Nvidia starting to gain some momentum. Technically speaking here, guys, we've got a positive 5-minute close outside of your opening range high. That actually is a very short-term bullish breakout. We'll see if it can hold. So again, a 5-minute candle close outside opening range high. I'm still going to hold on to my puts. They're sized appropriately. See if we can retest this little channel that we traded in. We haven't even back tested the upper boundary channel yet. But market's strong here. Crazy. Bitcoin tried recapturing 87K, got rejected pretty hard with a 10-minute wick. Still trying to hold a little bit of positive structure. Intel still chopping around. SPY coming in a little bit. I got in at 38 cents, so they're even cheaper right now. Market Labs coming in hard, guys. Now testing 75.16, down 2.6%. Silver still coming in a little bit from the highs. Intel still chopping around 35.50, down over 2%. Come on, Intel. The Russell continues to remain weak, guys. IWM tried bouncing a little bit and now looking like it wants to test the low of day. A bit of an H pattern intraday. Now, so the IWM is looking nasty here. Hourly chart, bear flag forming. So multiple different time frames look weak. You want to look at SNDK? Let's look at SNDK. Yeah, this chart still looks very strong as well. Breaking out on your hourly time frame, 4-hour time frame. Again, if the market stays firm, this one's also going to stay firm. It's very tough short. You got a lot of momentum here on this name to actually break out. I would say this is going to 330. Daily and weekly charts still look structurally okay. Yeah, it's a tough short, that one. That one's a strong name. But again, if the market comes in, it should come in a little bit. You're still kind of inside this initial little chop range, but it's looking very strong. I mean, even today, this could try to fill its gap up here. That daily chart gap 265 and change. All right, SPY still just hanging up here. Upper boundary range, no sell side pressure. Tesla's still down 0.9. Google still down 0.24, Nvidia still down 0.7, Amazon down 0.1, Microsoft is flat to green, Apple's nice and strong up 0.63%, Meta slightly green up 0.22, JP Morgan Lilly still holding structural strength. Micron still ridiculously strong, holding up everything. Nike pushing up over 5.35% and squeezing. BTC trying to go from red to green. Broadcom AVGO finding some strength. Still pinned here. QQQ's back to the green side. Russell's still lagging a little bit. SPY still holding structural strength on your 5-10 minute chart. Nike's still squeezing. Micron's still squeezing. Tesla's still lagging. Nvidia's still lagging. Micron's still holding structure. Nvidia's still down 0.75%. Oracle doing well today. SMCI lagging. SMR, nuclear lagging. Starbucks lagging. China's mixed. Path is still up 6.3%. Rivian taking a breather. Unity Software, decent day. Geez, this LITE stock is crazy too. Momentum Holdings. New highs for LITE. That's crazy. Tapping 400 today. Look at this move on this Lumentum. Insane ripper. Datadog getting smoked today. DDOG down 4%. That's another one that had such promising price action. DDOG. And it just got wrecked over the last couple months. I mean, you go from such a bullish breakout on news and then they just trapped all of that liquidity. I mean, look at that high volume breakout. And they slap it down. Now coming into your daily 200 moving average. Looks a little interesting here, guys, on a swing trade. A little bit lower, and it looks somewhat interesting down here around that 133. SPY still squeezing. Micron squeezing. Yeah, markets will open on Boxing Day, Friday, December 26th. Thank you. Yeah, Micron's the strongest stock right now. It's lifting pretty much the whole market right now, squeezing to the high side. So it's pumping up your SOXX, so tough for the indices to fall when your SOXX is kind of diverging and pulling up your QQQ. IWM's even catching a nice little bid now. So SPY at the highs, ripping into that 689 call wall. Almost going for that gap fill. Gap fill. They are squeezing us. Tesla's still lagging, Google, Nvidia, Amazon still lagging. So this market's pumping without some big names right now. Kava having a good day. ASTS got slammed today. It was up over 5% in the pre-market. Look at that gap and crack. Damn, that would have been a flat out short. Market is still squeezing to the upside here. We are in full bull mode. Ripping on Spyland, tapping that 689 call wall. Again, my puts are heavily down on SPY, but it's okay. It's a small position. Nike still squeezing. Tesla's now trying to catch a little bit of a bid off of the lows. The market has had a straight catapult, almost taking out the highs on SPX, guys. Almost taking out the all-time high there. We are close. Are they going to do it? They might do it. Low volume day, Christmas. They're close. I mean, not that far away from all-time high on SPX, guys. Super close. Pretty nuts. They might just do it. They're trying. Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus. All right, guys, they're gonna make a push for this all-time high on SPX. What is the high of this candle? So the high of this candle on SPX is 69.2034. 69.2034. SPX is so close from that all-time high, guys. You have to think it's going to hit. SPY's still a full beast. Intel chopping sideways. Nvidia trying to catch a little bit of a bid here. $0.32 away from an all-time high. Oh, we're going to hit it here, guys. They're going to punch it. We're like 10 cents away there. There's a new all-time high on SPX, guys. New all-time high SPX. That is a new all-time high. Pretty crazy. That was quick. 4 trading sessions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, I stand corrected. 1 week of trading, boom. Yep. Market's strong here. It's crazy strong. Looks like the Santa Claus rally is alive and strong. Yeah, last week's flush was a gift. Last week's flush was a gift to buy, guys. I'm just upset I sold my call so early. Left quite a bit of profit on the table. Nevertheless, still made money off of that dip and rip. And I still remain bullish the market. Even though I'm trying to scalp short intraday, I still remain very bullish. Lots of longs on the table still. But what's interesting is you still got quite a bit of red out there in individual names. They're really doing a weird pump here. It's a mixed bag today. Not everything is, when you expect the market making new all-time highs, you would expect green across the screens everywhere, but there's still a few sectors that are lagging as a whole. A few individual names that are taking breathers. Right now majority of sectors are green today, but you still have XLY slightly red, XLE slightly red, and XLB slightly red. Strongest sector today is actually real estate. XLRE up 0.55. You got staples performing well, healthcare performing well, and then the IWM you got retail XRT performing quite well. Yep, low volume for sure, Ram. Low volume for sure. Nvidia is still putting in a bit of a bear flag here intraday. So Nvidia's had its run recently, but it's looking a little bit bearish intraday. The only concern, guys, I have here is you look at your QQQ, or we'll pull up the NDX, and the NDX is still well off of its highs, all-time highs. So again, I still don't like when the S&P leads bull markets. That's usually not what happens. You usually see your NASDAQ continuously leading, but SPX today, new all-time highs. Micron's starting to come in a little bit. Micron seeing a little bit of selling. NVIDIA coming in a little bit as well. Dips are still being bought in this environment. Yep. Nike still squeezing up 5%. Nice. Chipotle turning green again. CMG. CMG still holding very strong daily chart price action. Looking pretty good. Data Vault getting smoked. Wrecked. Carnage. LiDAR stocks getting wrecked. QBTS getting smoked today. IONQ getting wrecked. Quantum stocks are getting annihilated today. Uranium still trying to build a bull flag on the daily, but you still have weakness in SMR today. SMR not looking good down here. You got Oklo. Still looks like Oklo is going to give us a new low. NVIDIA breaking for new lows, guys. Look at that bear flag on NVIDIA breaking intraday. Nasty. Bear, boom. Interesting. All right, so the sell side pressure is coming from NVIDIA right now. Bitcoin taking another leg lower, your IWM back to the negative side. NVIDIA down 1%. Tesla falling hot. Yeah, fine. This is a tiny break. Tiny. Nothing's wrong with this market yet. Although I do think we're super extended intraday. You know, I tried framing it saying we had a small sell signal on the 5 and 15, but your hourly, 4-hour, and daily is still screaming buy. This market is super strong, guys. Super strong. Again, do we need a little bit of consolidation here? Yes, we do, but crazy. Canopy Growth getting smacked. Rocket Lab still coming in. Silver down 1%. That's coming in a little heavier now. Yeah, it was a wrong call on the SPY. I was trying to short a value area high and a big extension move in the markets. You know, on the hourly chart, we were trading into our 8th hourly consecutive candle, and we were into a ton of resistance. So I thought we were going to get slapped down here. I thought they were doing a peekaboo breakout above here on SPX. And we had, you know, we look at this, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, small, 6, 7, you know, a couple green candles back here. So you've had a V-shaped bounce, super extension move from your 7. So what I thought was going to happen was I thought they were going to take us down through our hourly 7 MA, just like we saw here. So I thought they were going to pop us and then drop us a little bit, but they've just kept us. Again, that's why I said it was risky. small size, right? You don't want a full port, nothing. But it's a tough short. Very tough. You know, the market's got that lower volume environment. You got the Christmas holidays. You not really have much movement in the bond market. So, and I did see commodities selling, gold, silver, so I thought there was going to be some additional liquidity. Bitcoin was selling, so I thought there was going to be a little bit of maybe contagion into the markets, but definitely didn't happen that way. Yeah, I mean, I've been positioned that long for this market rally. We bought Nvidia on the dip, which has been one of the outperformers. We had SPY calls, 680 SPY calls on the dip. We sold SPY puts. We went long Amazon, a couple other names as well. We sold our Nvidia yesterday. So we had Nvidia calls, we had an NVDL. Still long Amazon. I like Amazon into the first quarter of 2026. I think that chart is still primed and ready for more upside. You know, it just needs to digest a little bit of these gains. But I think Amazon's heading back to 240 and then likely even new all-time highs. You look at consumer discretionary ETF, XLY, and I cover this in our weekly sector review. You know, XLY is looking like one of the most bullish sectors. You know, daily, weekly chart breakouts. You got very strong weekly inverted head and shoulders patterns. I see XLY going to 135. And that's primarily Tesla, Amazon, Home Depot, Nike, a few other names in there. Perry looking strong? Yeah. Banks are strong right now. Nice hourly chart bounce there. Consolidating right now. Yeah, it's not looking bad at all. Not looking bad at all. You do have that weekly inverse head and shoulders on carry that was saved. So, yeah, banks are looking strong for sure. Even XLF I thought was going to pull back here a little bit. It might still into the first half of the year, but XLF still just chugging away. JP Morgan blasting to new weekly all-time highs here. Breaking out again. And again, you've had a lot of leadership in flow into the S&P 500. That's why you have the SPX making new all-time highs where the NASDAQ QQQ isn't yet. IWM isn't yet because you've had components from financials and healthcare really start to firm up here. And utilities have caught a nice bounce. UNH real quick. Nice little candle on UNH. Another one that I think into 2026 will likely get some more additional accumulation. How's Constellation Brands doing? STZ still consolidating inside that initial candle. Carvana catching a little bit of a bounce off its daily 20 MA. Transport stocks still remain fairly decent here. Let's look at airlines, jets pulling back a little bit. CMG, guys. Very close to that gap fill on CMG. Baxter here. Baxter still chopping around. Haven't looked at Marvell in a while. How's MRVL doing? Yeah, Marvell still just choppy here. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. It's another one you guys need to keep your on your radar. TTD. I think it's going to have a big 2026 year. Drastically underperformed. IT. TDDY. PayPal. Just such a lagger as well. Crazy. Lululemon's still holding above this previous high pivot gap fill. I still think Lulu's got much upside to 250. Just breathing, taking a little bit of a breather. Natural gas trying to bounce a touch here. Crude oil got whacked down. Your IWM still green. QQQ lagging now. Dash, is that a double top on the 1 minute? No. Oh, SPY. Sorry, I thought Dash was the tick. Dash was just your handle. SPY double top on the 1 minute. Yeah, it could be a double top on the 1 minute. Sorry, Dash. I pulled up ticker Dash. Yeah, it could be a double top for sure. Yep, has the structure. Both high pivots there. Let's see the volume. Yeah, decent amount of volume on that double top. PMC. I haven't looked at that. Let's look at the metals company. Yeah, very, very tricky chart pattern here. Very tricky. So 7 and 20 still in bullish trend. You got a big pullback into your 7, which is getting gobbled up. Again, this is a long as long as you stay above this green bar. As long as you hold $7 here, the low of this candle, it's technically still a long. But it's a tricky company. It has a lot of gap ups, gap downs, right? So it can gap down over your stop. So you got to keep it on a short leash. But yeah, they defended the 7 and 20, so not a bad area. Definitely not a bad area. I mean, the only problem is like, you look at silver, it's moved outside of some crazy deviation moves. I think we're going to go through this sort of correction here. Maybe it pushes higher after that, but whenever you get this extended from your weekly 7, you just got to be cautious because you could have a quick 10 to 15% correction very quickly, right? Same thing with gold, although they're still ridiculously strong. Super extended from weekly chart, moving average, and daily chart. So I'd just be cautious. They've broken out some of their standard deviation moves. Like they've had crazy moves. Gold and silver. All right, market's still holding quite firmly here, guys. Super firm. Nvidia is still weak on the intraday session. It's catching a little bit of a bounce. It's hitting 10-minute chart 50 MA. So it's trying to hold that 50 MA on the 10-minute chart. Still intraday, it's bearish today. You know, down 1%, but that's acting as the piggy bank for the market. But yeah, the larger time frame on Nvidia still looks good. I'd love to see it build a flag pattern here, because then you're setting up for its next leg higher. I still think that despite selling my options and my NVDL shares, I honestly still think Nvidia is going to test this earnings high spike, which is 198. And then you just so happen to have a gap fill there. So that was a pre-market level where you had that big intraday reversal in the markets. And you haven't quite retested that earnings high spike in the pre-market. So I still think Nvidia can head to 198.65. But I wanna buy this next dip. That's my plan. I still like Nvidia here. I'm honestly looking for a dip into the 50-day moving average, which is at 185.82. So it's kind of where I'm going to be interested, depending on where the indices are. That's why I would love to see the markets just pull back a little bit here. I mean, it doesn't have to do much, but I'd feel much better if the indices pulled back, Nvidia hit that 50, and then you can reaccumulate some longs. But damn, they're keeping this pinned high here. It's trend angle, guys. This is a 75-degree rip. That is insane. Insane. V-shaped. This literally was orchestrated so that institutions and smart money can buy the Santa Claus dip. But 75% trend angle, it's a little bit stretched for my liking. A little bit stretched. You want to digest that. You know, you kind of saw it over here and then you went choppy sideways. Now, it doesn't mean we have to dip a lot, but we've had like no consolidation. Let this 20-hourly chart moving average catch up. You know, we could be setting up something similar to this area where the market chops kind of sideways into your hourly 20. So this type of a trend angle is what? Yeah, like pretty much almost a 75% degree rip as well. There'll still be some big moves, guys, in individual names as you get that end of year selling and rotation. Again, I highly encourage you to look at some beaten down names. Markets are still trending here, guys, strong as ever.